The first season of HBO's Watchmen has proven to be complex, riveting, and sometimes a little bit confusing. It's impossible for a story like this to not end with some unanswered questions, so here are the biggest ones we came away with. Warning, like having a conversation with Dr. Manhattan, you will be spoiled. Adrian Veidt spends almost a decade essentially imprisoned on Europa. We see his time there throughout the season, interspersed with events in Tulsa. By the season finale, it's clear what's going on in Oklahoma is not happening at the same time as Veidt's adventures on Jupiter's most lively moon. The proof is the golden statue of Veidt that Angela A. Barr and Lori Blake notice when they interview Lady Trieu. Lori comments on how old he looks in the recreation, and it's because it's not a statue. When Trieu sends a ship to rescue Veidt from Europa, he's preserved for the trip by being encased in a golden shell. And the instructions he's given insist he put his hands on his hips before the procedure. Trieu clearly keeps him on display for a while before reviving him just in time to show him her master plan in action. Just how long is not entirely clear. When Dr. Manhattan teleports Adrian Veidt, Lori Blake, and Looking Glass to Veidt's base in Antarctica, it doesn't take much for Veidt to convince the others that Lady Trieu's plan to become the next Dr. Manhattan needs to be stopped. Veidt says his daughter won't actually save the world, as she claims, because
he is clearly a raging narcissist whose ambition knows no limits. It's hubris, literal hubris.
Trieu definitely does seem to fit that bill. She doesn't hesitate to kill the leaders of the cavalry and doesn't seem the least bit shaken. She's dishonest, manipulative, and ruthless. Yet all those things could be said about Veidt, who does genuinely hope to save humanity with his act of genocide at the end of the original comic book series.
Takes one to know one.
It could be that if Trieu's plan had worked, she could have become some awful dictator. It's also possible that Trieu would have done exactly what she said and used her new powers to make the world a better place. It's kind of what her dad did, right? In episode 4, Angela, in her Sister Night guise, chases down a costumed figure who douses himself in oil, drops to the pavement, and slides away into a storm drain. The audience's reactions seem to be pretty similar to Angela's. Viewers had to be expecting to get some sort of explanation, or at least a clue as to who this mysterious Lube Man was in the finale. But he wasn't even mentioned. The show's creators did offer some clue as to his identity, though. HBO has been publishing supplemental materials on its website under the title Peteypedia, written in the world of the show by FBI agent Dale Petey. The last entry isn't credited to Petey, however. It's credited to an FBI deputy director who explains that Petey is no longer employed by the FBI because of his obsession with masked vigilantes and his meandering reports. Among the possessions removed from his office? A jug of what appears to be some kind of canola oil. When we first meet Will Reeves, he's over 100 years old, retired from his secret life as hooded justice, but spurred back to action after meeting Dr. Manhattan. For someone who's lived for over a century, he's in miraculously good health. Even though he claims to be wheelchair-bound at first, we eventually learn he's perfectly capable of walking all on his own. The most obvious answer to how Reeves is in such good health is Lady Trieu. She's a scientific genius who has no compunctions about using unconventional methods to achieve her goals. Someone like Trieu seems more than capable of keeping a man alive and healthy longer than most. Or maybe hooded justice is just made of stronger stuff than the rest of us. At first, the message from Dr. Manhattan that Will relays to Angela in the movie theater seems like nonsense.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a couple of eggs.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
But when Angela goes to clean up the egg carton she slammed on the kitchen floor during her argument with John, she remembers John telling her, "Watch the eggs." Lo and behold, one egg remains unbroken. During Angela's first meeting with John, he explained he could transfer his power into an egg that would grant someone else who ate it his abilities.
I suppose I could transfer my atomic components into some sort of organic material.
Angela takes the egg to her backyard and downs it. She slowly reaches out to the water of her pool to see if she'll be able to walk on water like John. Then the screen goes black. Will Angela be the new Dr. Manhattan? We're intentionally left in the dark on that question. Upon his return to Earth, Adrian Veidt isn't met with the praise and forgiveness he expects.
May I ask you what everybody thinks happened to him?
Oh, nobody cares.
Armed with the recordings Veidt made for President Robert Redford, Laurie Blake and Lookingglass insist on arresting Veidt for his crimes. Veidt laughs at the idea, but Lookingglass knocks him out cold. Assuming they return to the US with Veidt and the proof of his crimes, the whole world will presumably learn the peace forged after what was thought to be an assault by extra-dimensional aliens was a lie, and that the US president was secretly handpicked from the shadows. Will the Cold War reignite? Or alternatively, will Veidt's recordings prove more effective than Rorschach's journal? Will most people find the revelations too fantastic to be true and ignore them as crazy conspiracy theories? Many of these questions could be answered in a second season of Watchmen, but show creator David Lindelof has said repeatedly he wants the first season to tell one self-contained story, just as the original comic series did. He hasn't completely ruled out future seasons, though he seems adamant he won't be a part of it unless there's another story he eventually wants to tell in the world of Watchmen. He also says he's open to the idea of stepping back and letting someone else tackle another season. So, will there be a season 2 of Watchmen?
You avoided answering by saying nothing ever ends.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.